What it do, guys? It's Miggy, Miggy, and welcome to an episode of Game and Gab, wherein we show you gameplay, where I show you gameplay and I talk about my thoughts and maybe my commentary on the gameplay itself. So today we're gonna be looking at Etheria Restart, one of the more recent, I guess. It's been out for almost a month or 2 months, and I've been playing it since the release. And here are my thoughts, being a monthly or a player since the release of Etheria Restart. So right off the bat, let's talk about the gameplay or the flow of the video itself. So a background on me. I've been playing gacha games. I've been playing turn-based games since way back, ever since the release of games like Summoner's War. I've been itching to try to get into it. And now that I'm more financially capable or financially stable, I am a bit of a semi-spender. So when it comes to games like these, I don't mind shelling out a bit of cash. But I wouldn't call myself a whale because I do not load in a bunch load or a buttload of money to play the game. So let me just get my initial thoughts over. So with Etheria Restart, I'd say it's a pretty grindy and pretty stingy gacha game, especially with the type of game it's trying to be, with it trying to go be a bit more on the PvP side of stuff. But let me just get these dailies first. And I guess my thoughts on it are, since we are starting a new week, let's get the union worm out. And let me just look for Lily. There we go. So my thoughts on the game, it's pretty grindy. I'm not against the grind because, of course, with games like these, grind is a big part of it. But I'd say it's pretty stingy on the drops. What do I mean by that? Certain equipment, certain items you need that are must runs are really hard to get, especially with the rarity involved. When you're trying to get three icon modules and three icon shells, because of so much R&D, it's a lot harder to be getting these specific attributes or stats you're looking for in the items or equipment you're looking for. But a plus side of that is I like how the game isn't as solved as it is. Though there are must-run characters, I'm talking about specifically Lily. A lot of compositions, if they want to progress further, you really have to have Lily because she is one of the units that is pretty much slot into any team composition and it's just gonna work. So it is a dark element type, but then again, I'm using general terms, because sometimes each game has its specifics, specific element type. But if we're looking at it now, it's an LD. If you guys come from Summoner's War, they're called LD units. And the game is pretty generous on summons, because on the normal summons, you could actually get LD units. Specifically Masaya, Lily, Yeli, the usuals. But then again, I like how the game isn't as solved as it is. Or like in other games that, oh, you need a certain composition to clear this. So there's a lot more room to be creative. But then again, my counter to that is you need to have a Lily, or game progression is a lot easier if you have a certain unit already summoned. So as we're finishing through this Union daily that I like doing, I guess my thoughts on it is, again, like overall thoughts, it's pretty grindy, but I do enjoy the grind. It's grindy enough that you know that you worked hard for certain items or certain hero units, but it's not too grindy that you feel like it's a chore to be doing the dailies. It feels too grindy that, it feels like you really have to spend to get to a certain part or certain point of the game. And I like how you could be creative with it. If you guys are following other gacha game or Etheria Restart content creators, you'll notice how they each have their own way of addressing or solving certain clearing boss clears, like the Teramaton, Doki Doki. each each content creator has their own unique way of tackling those bosses. And that's what's unique, or what I like about the game. So as we're done with the Union Daily of the Worm, let us talk about quality of life. This is something that keeps me playing this game. Honestly, the quality of life of this game, it really looked back at, okay, what are the PvP heavy turn-based gacha games missing, or what are they lacking? Why are people ticked off or really iffy about continuing the grind with those games? And honestly, this is one thing I'd say. First off, I mentioned it previously that when you're summoning, there's the permanent summon banner, wherein you also have access to not only the standard 3 and elements, or the standard 3 types, you also have access to the other LD units. So that's a big plus, especially when a lot of the LD units are, let's face it, they're kind of OP. With for Yeli, for example, having that AoE defense break, defense down, with Lily just being Lily, cooldown reduction, speed increase, and all that. That's why she is a must run. But having that percentage, that slight percentage that you could still summon an LD unit from the normal banner, is such a good quality of life bonus that this game has added. And not just that. So I did mention how grindy the game is. Let's just go through. I feel like I'm actually farming shells right now. With the shells, there's this idea of continuous battle. I know the continuous battle or consecutive battle is not a new quality of life addition, but I like how Etheria Restart uses it or plays it, because as you are continuously battling, you could actually set it aside and start trying out doing other clears or other challenges, as they put it here. So we'll do a Doki Doki level 4 while we're at it. So what's unique about that is, honestly, the continuous play is nothing new, as I've mentioned, because that's what draws players in to play or try out their game, because the grind is not as tedious or as long. But then what I like about this is continuous play persists even when you're outside the game. So once you load it in, let's say you're going on a ride, you're going on a commute, you have maximum energy or maximum stability. You can just set it on continuous play, and you could just leave it there and then exit the game and then go do your scrolling, go do your doom scrolling on whatever social media page or site or app you're using, and then after a while just check back on it and do it all over again. Plus, I like the balance. The fact that you have to get a 3-star to complete the continuous battle or consecutive battle for 10 matches, you need to get 3-star. So it rewards you for good team building. Just because you can finish the game or the boss in 4 minutes, it doesn't mean that you get to run it 10 times and then just wait 40 minutes and you'll get your farm. That's not the case. Here, you have to have the 3-star to unlock 10 consecutive battles, which is a good balance because it rewards you for being smart about your team composition, and it doesn't reward you for being lazy. It's like, this is okay, this is good enough. You start thinking about, I can tinker this, I could increase this unit, I could level up this unit, I could switch these out, and then improve my clear times. So now you're also balancing with the risk reward, wherein sure, you can clear the games faster, clear the rounds faster, but it doesn't guarantee that it's always going to be a 100% clear. So you start risking it. I could do a 5-minute clear, but it's at 100% clear versus having 2-minute clear times with around 80 to 85% clear time. So that's why I'd say that's a good quality of life addition. So again, that would be having access to LD units immediately or very early, without the need for the specific LD summoning material, but you do have that here too. But again, at least you have access to it, even though you do not end up spending or paying. And adding to that is the continuous play or consecutive play that this game offers. I guess the next other critique I have is the gameplay loop. A lot of games live or die on this hill, wherein the gameplay loop ends up becoming too tedious, or it becomes work basically. And that's a lot of games, or a lot of gacha games end up dying because of that. Wherein they feel like you can get a lot when you successfully clear certain dailies or accomplishments or missions required for the week or the day or the month. But having access to dailies that you could quickly accomplish, I'd say it takes around, if you built the right teams, because a lot of the stuff you can do in game very autoable, so you can multitask. So while you're clearing investigations, you can be doing thresholds. While you're autoing Terramaton, you could be doing PvP, or you're in the arena playing games. A lot of it's autoable, so I'd say that dailies, if you built enough or you optimize your teams enough, it would take you around 15 minutes to 30 minutes to get everything done. And that's a super plus, especially for a competitive grindy game wherein you could grind during your free time. If your phone is idle, just boot up your consecutive battle, go through the dailies, and set it aside. And that's it. That's a super convenient way for a super competitive PvP heavy or PvP forward gacha game. So my only critique though is for the events. As you can see, the events, they tend to just go around in circles. Right now there's currently 3 in rotation, wherein the events are basically point and click. You click, you click, you click, you click. And it's not as engaging as other unique events from other games, but over time, I'm pretty sure the devs will find ways to make this more appealing or more engaging. But aside from that, just because of how the events are set also, it takes up little to no time, because you could multitask in-game, wherein you're doing consecutive battles, you're also doing manual battles on the side, thus making these events faster and more smooth to clear over time. Once you have the habit, once you've built the routine, 15 to 30 minutes of your time could go to grinding, and then you could just AFK farm and move to another app and just let it be. And let it ride. And that's it. So it's for a very competitive or supposedly competitive game, it gives you a lot of options to be more lax about it. And progression it really depends on you. Progression depends on how you do things or how fast you want to do things. So with that being said, we talk progression, and when we talk progression, that's when paying to play, paying to win gets into the conversation. So would I say this game is free to play friendly? Definitely playable, I'd say. Honestly, if you're playing this casually and just waiting, riding the hype, riding the wave, the game is pretty free to play friendly, because you dictate the pace of how you want to play it. I'd say that's the best way I could describe it, because let's face it. People pay because they want to progress faster. People spend because they want to get things a bit quicker, a bit smoother, a bit more convenient for them. And with this game making everything already so convenient, I honestly say that it's free to play friendly, because you don't have to worry or you don't have to think about being competitive. If you feel like you don't have the budget for it, the game doesn't force you to the game doesn't force you to try to shell out or force you to shell out money to enjoy the game. Though honestly, right now, given the state of PvP and how early this game is, of course, people are spending or paying to win because they want to get the best equipment possible to optimize their sets, their teams a lot quicker, so that they could climb the leaderboards a lot sooner. So, with that being said, honestly, Etheria Restart is a good jumping point. If you want to get into a PvP based or PvP forward gacha game, Etheria Restart is the way to go. They're generous with their summons because you have access to certain elements. Like you have access to the constants and the so we could use their terms. Where's that? So you have more access. The game is very free to play friendly and very casual friendly, I'd say, because as mentioned, this is a good jumping point or a starting point for people who want to try out PvP forward turn-based gacha games. Because number one, it's pretty generous with how it treats its summons. You have access to your disorders or your constants, which are in other games the light and dark units, because you can summon them in the banners, the permanent banner. Though it's a lower rank, lower percentage rate for pulling, it's better than nothing. And two, you get to experience the grind. It's grindy enough to enjoy because it doesn't eat up a lot of your time, but it's pretty stingy on the types of equipment you need or the types of stats you need. But then again, that's why it keeps you coming back, because it gives you a gratification when you finally get what item or what stat or what equipment you're looking for. It gives you that gratification that I earned this because I used up so much time to try to do this and all that. And stability is pretty, or the stamina system is pretty good. You have a lot of access to the free, quote unquote, free mental stability stamina item, which gives you 10 runs. More or less, it really gives you 10 runs. And I like how the game isn't solved yet. Every content creator, every player has a different way of tackling certain bosses and challenges, which makes it unique to other games wherein, okay, you have to have this unit, you have to have built a DOT team, a damage over time team, because that's the fastest or most efficient way to clear certain things. But sometimes people find new ways to tackle these endeavors. Oh, in this certain turn, he reacts this way, he targets this one. So you could use that to build your team around that gimmick. So you could be very creative about your team composition. But again, my current issue is, there's always a must run. In every game, there's always a unit that you must have if you want to efficiently progress through the game. And right here in this game, it's Lily, a disorder unit that just gives you so much utility. And then again, I'd recommend this for casual players because again, dailies are quick to accomplish. The grind, though grindy, gives you, because of how the quality of life is adjusted or done in this game, you have more access to free time because once you autoplay, you could leave the game, you could doom scroll, you could do whatever you want to do, and then go back to the game. And it doesn't consume your battery life because the game is now running 24/7, 365 on your phone. So it saves up on battery. And with the dailies being what it is for like 30 minutes, 15 minutes, you could set it aside, let it run, autoplay it, let it run, leave it, set it aside. The whole shebang. That it just screams casual gamers, but it also can attract the hardcore or competitive gamers because it gives you access to PvP, as mentioned. And again, I'd say it's a pretty casually free-to-play friendly game. But if you really want to compete, if you want to get competitive on it, be prepared to shell out cash because you're paying for rapid progression And when you're looking at rapid progression, of course, what's gonna hinder you? Your units. What's gonna hinder you? Your stamina. You're gonna need to get the currency to more easily progress through the game. But that's about it. Honestly, if you had the cash to do it, to go competitive, I wouldn't stop you. But again, Etheria Restart, a good gateway to the PvP forward turn-based gacha game system. And honestly, I believe you guys should give it a try. If it's not your cup of tea, or if you're coming from previous or other older titles in the same genre, I'd say Etheria Restart is worth the try. Again, this is Miggy, Miggy, with an episode of Game and Gab, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.